Great, thanks. Hi, Steph. It's good to see you. Wanted to ask a little bit, well, actually, just to kind of warm up, what was the last training day like there in Spain?
It was good. For the most part, we were blessed with really good weather and nice fields. Yesterday was our only day where we had thunderstorm in the area, so we had to improvise and do some different things. But today, training session was great. Weather was amazing. It was nice to go back out there and get ready for tomorrow's game. Like I said, I mean the main reason why we came here is to be able to have good weather and have good fields, and especially with obviously what you guys been dealing with back home. That was probably a smart decision, but so we had a good training session and enjoyed every bit of it.
What's going to be then important for tomorrow then when you have I'm guessing you two will be able to go 90 minutes, so what's going to be important for the scrimmage there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're looking at getting fitness, going 90 minutes for everybody. That'll be a first. So we're looking for people to get that fitness, but at the same time get it without any injuries. I think that's one of the goals, obviously. As dumb as that sounds, but that's going to be very important. And then I think we've slowly the competition that we've faced has gotten better and better and better. It's allowed us to have to raise our game as well and get better and better. And so I think tomorrow is going to be no different. We're going to be facing two good squads that are going to pose a good test. And so we're looking forward to that. I think in the past we found ourselves playing against teams that were very good and maybe a bit more in mid-season form than we were. And so it's going to be challenging, but that's what we're here for, right? To try to get better and put us in uncomfortable positions, have to make some saves, have to improvise, have to try to play out of the back when things are tight and maybe your instinct is not to do so. And then just another opportunity for, I think, guys to gel one more time before you get back home.
We'll go to Nico Moreno next, but a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, please use the hand raise function in Zoom. Nico, why don't you go ahead?
Thank you, Matt. Steph, obviously this team is very familiar with building out of the back, with three in the back, and some of the concepts might be very familiar, but if this team is going to play with three in the back, personnel is going to definitely be different. What have you thought of that approach? How it's played out, specifically to the last game? How do you see it developing so far?
Playing out of the back in particular?
That and your center backs. What have you seen out of them playing in that three-man setup?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had multiple games on each day, and so for me, for example, although I've practiced with Jackson, I haven't had an opportunity to be in the games with Jackson, so it'll be good. I think tomorrow I get a chance to kind of get back on the horse with him, and that'll be good. But yeah, it's a little bit different in terms of I think we're trying to figure out ways where in the past we've kind of went to three in the back in our position or possession as well. But I think now we're trying to figure out if we are deep in our own third and we have three center backs, how do we maybe skew them to one side a little bit to be able to utilize the goalkeeper as well, and not just have a goalkeeper sit back there and kind of be almost wasted or stuck behind the central center back. So maybe we're going to skew it a little bit to the side, allow the goalkeeper to maybe almost step in a little bit on one side, to be able to stretch out a little bit more and have the distances be a bit bigger, and that even though we only have three center backs, that it won't be as narrow and as easy to defend. Having said that, so far what I've seen has been good. We have so many talented players on the squad. We have good depth, and like I said, we haven't even been able to play with everybody in competitive matches so far because we've had multiple games on a day, and so that means that you don't always get to play with everybody. But coaches have been trying to move things around so everybody gets accustomed to each other. But so far, what I've seen, either when I'm playing or when I'm watching the other team play is that we have a good amount of skill in the field, and we have obviously Jesus and Paul in particular. I would say are guys, veterans, who don't need to really. You have to bring them up to speed, not too much. They know what's expected of them. They know how to operate and how to do it, and they bring a different side to our game, which is great.
When it comes to Ferreira and Paul Arriola, I mean, those two names, everybody's concerned, and not concerned, but everybody's kind of wondering about how they do in the field. I'm wondering how they've, adapted to the squad. Have you learned anything new in a, personality and a personal level from either one of those guys now through your time in Spain?
Well, yeah, I mean, people worried. I think people should be excited. They're very good players, and so for us to be able to pick those two guys up, I think is tremendous. Honestly, I've heard nothing but good things from about both of them, and since I've seen them now and they've joined the squad, that's been proven. They're great guys. I think they fit into the locker room really well right from the get-go. And they obviously, I think, possess a ton of quality. What have I learned from them that I didn't know before? I think Paul works exceptionally hard on the outside. I think he picks out his spots really well in terms of when he crosses the ball, where to cross. It's not just a hopeful ball. I've seen him really pick out his spots quite thoughtfully, and I think that's going to go really well with someone like Jordan up top. And then Jesus, not only have I seen it, but I've heard it from multiple teammates. I think he's obviously very gifted technically, but the one thing is he makes his moves, he makes his passes, and then he tries to get into the box. And so that's also one thing I think we maybe struggled with at times, where we had, we finally broke out, and then we were maybe a little late to get into the box, and so in the end we'd only have one or at best two runners into the box. We're trying to get that up to 3, 4, maybe even 5 guys making a run into it, and his movement, his vision, and like I said, that pass and move hungry right into the box. That's going to help us with that.
Masvidal, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Steph. Going back to, I think your comment in terms, sounds like you're going to play a little bit of a point guard, as most goalkeepers do now. How important is it then for that weak side? Strong side right, you get the ball. How important is it then for that left weak side to be ready so that you can swing the ball when you're playing from the back? Yeah,
I mean, I think that the spacing, that's the thing, right? And for a goalkeeper and the back line in particular, right, there's only a certain amount of risk that maybe you should take. So I don't want to be running out of the goal, and if we do have an errant pass, then I'm nowhere near in the back to try to have still a line of defense there. So that's been good. I think for me personally, I've always veered on the side of caution. I'm more of a conservative goalkeeper. I'm trying to keep the ball out of the back of the net, but it's been good to be able to train a little bit more. Like, can I step in? Because the other thing that I think we saw, or we felt as a goalkeeping unit towards the end of last year, is if we do find ourselves kind of budging into that back line, if we get the ball, now all of a sudden we're 10, 15 yards higher. So even if we cannot swing the ball over and make an easy pass, I think now all of a sudden the long ball is an option too, because we've added 10, 15 yards. We're 10, 15 yards more advanced. So instead of maybe finding Jordan on his chest, it might actually be, if it's an opponent who has a high line, we can put one in behind. And it sounds silly, but that 10 yard difference or even 8 yard difference can be it. But again, it's small steps where you have to all as a unit start getting more, put yourself in uncomfortable situations to become more comfortable, right? And that's what we're trying to do. So far pretty good. I think we've obviously always liked having the triangles with our 6s. 6 and 8, and that's still the case, even with me stepping into the back 4 there, or Andrew or someone else. If a guy goes from Jackson and then I get the ball from Jackson, he flows onto me. Jackson's the open man at this point. So can we find our triangles to rotate back to Jackson? You do that successfully 2, 3, 4 times, that guy's not going to start pressing anymore. It's wasted energy. And so Tomorrow we'll try to set the tone. I know they're probably going to come out aggressive. These teams tend to be man for man, very aggressive, looking for cues to jump. And so then it becomes even more important that when you have your first opportunity to be clinical, that you do that because you set the tone. It discourages them to do it again. If you mess up, you give them a sniff, they smell blood. And so again, it's a high pressure situation, and makes you feel uncomfortable. And it's good because we want to get comfortable in the situation.
And then just for you, what was your off season like in getting ready? It was short, obviously, but what was that like as you look at continue to be durable and just being a leader of the team?
My off season or preseason?
I'm sorry, preseason.
Preseason.
I'll go off season. The season gets done. There's a little bit of that. We had like 40 days. What was that like for you? Did you disengage and then get right back into your routine?
Off season, no. I mean, you try to take a bit of a break. Honestly, at one point, I think when your body, or for me at least, the body starts realizing that you do have your break. It all of a sudden starts bringing back old injuries that you, not old, but injuries that you incurred during the season, and it wants to almost heal them. I remember playing video games, and I tried to get my raised leg down to the ground, and I pulled my calf. So it's like one of those things where it's like your body's like, hey, let's cure all the little ailments we had in the whole year and make sure that we're good to go again. And then actually my wife and I went on vacation early December, and I love going to earn my breakfast. I love getting up at 6:30 in the morning, going to the gym, working out hard and earning that breakfast. And then once I got back to Bainbridge Island, signed up to a gym, and I did the same thing. I went to work out almost every day at 6 or 7 in the morning. Was able to gain some size, some strength, and actually get leaner at the same time. So I'm super, super proud and happy of that. Now it's about trying to utilize that, right? If you're strong in a gym, but you can't utilize it on a soccer field, then it's pointless. So we've been working hard in trying to make sure that the hard work we've done all collectively, I think everybody's come in quite in good shape. Everybody's been really happy with the way people showed up. This gives us a great foundation. Now it's a matter of really making that count on the field. And so it's been good. It's always so exciting. For me, as I've gotten older, I try to really get away from the soccer during the off season, and goalkeeping as well. And so that when you come back, you're just so stoked, you're so excited to get back on the field, catch the ball, have your fingers tingle and hurt a little bit because they're not used to it. But that's the fun of it, and then now we're starting to really dive into the nitty-gritty details of goalkeeping. Calm feet, having a positive step in, a daring step into difficult shots. Hand positioning again, like crossing. We've been kind of diving all into these little things, which has been super fun, and excited to see where we can take it this year.
One last one. Your coach Tony Dutra is a goalkeeping coach savant, and did he come up with any? You don't have to tell. Did he come up with any new drills for you guys for this year? With the change in your position, seems like he just loves doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he always tweaks things a little bit, but at the same time, he always wants to keep it relatable. He wants to, you sometimes, especially on Instagram, sometimes I have to roll my eyes. You see goalkeepers doing drills that have nothing to do with goalkeeping anymore. It's important, I think, for Tommy that the things that we do translate to the game. And honestly, this is the only reason why we do the drills, is so that we can be better prepared for the things that we face in games. It makes sense to do that, right? So he's tweaked a few things here and there, make sure that they're fresh, they feel new. He also, had exit meetings with all of the goalkeepers in person at the end of the year. Asked them, what do you want to see more of? What do you feel like you weren't seeing enough of? Things like that. So I think we all gave him a couple of things that maybe we want to have a little bit more in there. And that's why it's a great environment. We all feel like we're working together. We're not just kind of like, okay, what are we going to do here? Tommy listens really well. We obviously watch video all the time. We watch our trainings, we watch our games, all of that. And then sometimes in the game something creeps in. that you want to address, then maybe we focus on that as a unit for the next 2-3 weeks. So it's been really good to get back into that swing, but he leads it. I mean, he leads that because he loves and lives goalkeeping, and it's amazing to have that leader for a goalkeeping unit, because we know that, you know, we're excited to go out every day. We're excited because we like to go work with him and get better as a unit.
Thanks.
All right, guys, we probably have time for a couple more, knowing we have to get Coach Schmetzer in a couple minutes. So we'll go next to Jackson Feltz before letting Jeremiah Oshan close us out for Steph.
Hey, Steph. Wonder the thoughts on the return of Kim Kee-hee, that addition, what you've always thought about his game in the past, and what he can give you guys in 2025.
I'm super stoked. I mean, what a great teammate. Obviously, what a successful career he's had so far. So tons and tons of experience joining the locker room. The first thing, when I heard there was a possibility he was signing for me, the first thing I told Tommy was like, I'm excited for our still somewhat young center backs. Someone like Jackson, who I think can learn a lot from someone like Kim Kee-hee. The way, in fact, everybody, honestly, the way that guy carries himself. You know, he's not the loudest person. I think sometimes in the field when there's urgency, he would let it be known. But other than that, very calm presence. But a consummate professional. My God, you know, you just look at his body. I think he's always been quite fit, well earned at that size to be in that kind of shape. So anything you'll see him do, he'll give it 100% every day in training, and then also in the gym, and then recovery too. So it'll be really, really good for all the young guys to see. Honestly, when I joined the Sounders, that to me was Zach Scott. Zach Scott was the consummate professional. Maybe he didn't see the pitch a whole lot, but my God, he was in such good shape, and he would give 110% in training, and he would work his socks off in the gym. And if as a young or a new guy to the team, you see that, that's inspiring. And so I can see that right away. And obviously we are in so many competitions as well this year, so we're going to have to rotate. You know, I haven't seen too much of him play in the last few years, but I know I'm going to trust him because what I remember of him, he's a very trustworthy defender. He's a bit more on the conservative side, just like me, because he knows he needs to defend the goal, and the number one thing is for us to not get scored on. I really appreciate that, but I'm looking forward to him joining. Great guy in the locker room and on the pitch, so super stoked to see him join the squad again.
Jeremiah, why don't you close us out for Steph before we bring in Coach Schmetzer?
Yeah, I'm just curious what you've made of Josh Atencio's switch to center back, and how you think it's suited him so far.
It's been really good so far. I think, for one, we all know, I think he has the body for it. He's got good technique, so the more we see center backs having to be very technical in the back in terms of their passing and their passing ability, I think he has that in his arsenal, so that's good. It's the growing pains that, I wouldn't call it growing pains, but you know, you're going back a line, so you have to take less risks. You have to realize that, hey, I am the last line of defense besides the goalkeeper behind me, so certain things cannot, if you go into a challenge, you have to be a bit more certain that you can get the ball. You cannot say, I'm gonna see if I can go in and figure it out. If not, who cares? It's a little bit of a different mindset, and I think he's coming to terms with that, which is great. Because, like I said, I think he has everything he needs to be a very good center back. Also, be interesting to see. You know, I think so far we've employed him mostly on the right side. I can see him more than capable in the middle, as well as on the left side. So very versatile, and doing really well with that transition. And yeah, I think he has everything. So excited to see his journey this year and how we're going to be able to utilize it.